Hello, good morning to you and welcome to the Camnet Breakfast. I'm your host. My name is CHIPENZI'S Sakaleji. It's been quite a challenging week, but I'm glad that you've actually made time to join us today on the Camnet Breakfast and hoping that your day is going to be as good as it was bright today in the morning because the sun came out quite early. I think around 5:40 something, the sun was already out, so rise and shine, indeed it is. So now we've got quite a number of stories outlined for you. The current talk of the town is that of the appointment of GEAR's Executive Director, CHIPENZI'S, as Electoral Commission of Zambia Commissioner. So it has actually brought a whole lot of mixed reactions from the opposition and also the current administration justifying to why the appointment had gone through. So now there are claims that he might actually be a United Party for National Development supporter or cadre. So there are quite a number of those things. Those are one of the topics that we'll be looking at, and also a child that was lost, that she drowned in a septic tank in some compound. We'll also be looking at that story, and also stories that caught our attention in the course of the week, and headlines that made stories. So now on the other side, remember that you can actually come through to us. You can communicate with us via our Facebook platform. On our live session, you can just comment because the topic has been posted for you, or you can call us using the numbers that are scrolling on your screen. My name is CHIPENZI'S Sakaleji. Good morning, and let's quickly get into a conversation. First conversation of the day, which is the morning boost. I'll join you on the other side.
Ladies and gentlemen, again here with Cholwe, and we are gonna start with a stretch. Ten for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so we're gonna start with squat jumps for a minute. To squat, so squatting, knees don't move to the front or butt. 1 minute of those, the modified version. If you can't jump, let's go. We're starting. Up, up, up. Just like the modified version. Up, up, advanced. Up, modified version, but out. You don't want to the front. Remember that. Up, up, up. Just like that. Up, up. Advanced. You breathe. Good. You should feel the bend. It's a very good bend. The next one for 1 minute, we're just gonna kick to the front. You kick. We're going for 1 minute. Kick, kick. could go 10 seconds of this. All right. Thank you so much. To the next episode.
Well, there you have it. We always emphasize on exercising at least 3 times in a week if you can't manage every day. And if you're unable to go to the gym, we always talk about home training or home exercises. You can just, and if you can't do that, you can just take long walks. If you can't do that too, then unfortunately we can't help you. So if you're unable to do all these things, eat healthy. If you can't eat healthy again, then we have a big problem. But always make sure that you have the important meal of the day, which is breakfast. Drink a lot of water. If you're unable to go to the gym and exercise from home, you can just take long walks. This goes to everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're big in body size or you're small. We all need to keep healthy, and also remember that that will also help you be active. So it depends what type of a person you are. If you're the type that works out in the morning before work, or maybe you prefer working out after hours, which is after 5. But personally, I feel working out in the morning is actually very easy because you are in an environment where the air is still fresh and not a lot of people are moving around. So if I do those morning runs that I haven't done in a long time, but actually fun and I miss doing that, I'll probably go back, is the runs that you do in the morning, like between 5 to 6 or from 4:30 to actually 5:30, depending how secure your area is. But just be safe out there as you do your jogging in the morning. And also the exercise that we're just from showing on Morning Boost, I think he was working on the legs, the back, and also the arms, and the, what do you call it? The abs, not the abs, the handles. They call them love handles if you've got this thing. So all the exercise that he was doing. But remember to always make a date with us. If you're unable to find ways to work out, we have the Morning Boost on all the breakfast shows. So just keep glued from Monday to Saturday. Anyways, moving on to our next segment of the day, which is the Health Corner. And then afterwards, we'll look at how the stock exchange rate looks like as of today on Money Market.
Good morning, viewers. I'm Dr. Nancy Mbasela from the Medical Women Association of Zambia. And on today's Health Talk, we'll be talking about lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune disease, and it's also chronic. So a chronic disease simply means that it is long-standing. It is there for a long time. It can be managed, but usually it cannot be treated. It has no cure. It is autoimmune. Autoimmune simply means that your body is fighting itself. So what your immune system does in a normal situation is that whenever you have a virus or bacteria, or even if you are pricked by something, for example a thorn, and it stays there, what your immune system does is that it attacks that foreign body. So a virus, bacteria is considered a foreign body. Now, when someone has an autoimmune disease, it simply means that their body sees the body as a foreign thing. So instead of just fighting viruses and bacteria, it also fights normal cells in the body. So that's what lupus is. So what causes lupus? So unfortunately, the cause has not been found yet. But some of the risk factors are genetic. It has been shown that it's very common in identical twins. So if your identical twin has lupus, you have a high chance of getting lupus. It's also common in females. The chances of a female getting lupus compared to a male is 9 to 1. That is 90%. This has been shown to be because women produce more estrogen than men. And the most common age for lupus in women is childbearing ages. So those that are menstruating, those that are pregnant, this is because they produce more estrogen. Another risk factor for lupus is smoking. So smoking can change the genetics, and it can also cause flare-ups in lupus. Another risk factor for lupus, especially flare-ups, I'll speak about flare-ups soon, is because of stress. So I've already said that it's more common in women. 90% of lupus cases are in women. And then it's more common in the childbearing age. So there are different types of lupus. So we have systemic lupus erythematosus. This is the most common and the most severe. It is very common in Africans compared to whites. We also have discoid lupus erythematosus. This one is also common in Africans, but it is less severe than systemic lupus erythematosus. We also have subacute cutaneous lupus erythematosus. Subacute cutaneous lupus erythematosus is more common in Caucasians, and it is less severe. And of course, we also have neonatal lupus. This happens in newborns. We also have childhood lupus, which happens commonly in children below the age of 10 years old. So how do people with lupus present? So the classic presentation of a person with lupus is usually a woman within childbearing ages, so teenagers and women who are in their childbearing age. They usually present with fever, a rash, and also muscle joint pain. But they can also present with other things. Remember, I said that it's an autoimmune disease. So when your immune system is hyperactive and it's attacking everything, including you, it can attack any part of the body. So a person with lupus can present with not just a rash, but they can also present with brain problems because the antibodies of that person also attacks their brain. So when it comes to brain problems, they can present with seizures. They can also present with confusion, psychiatric disorders such as mood disorders. They can also present with a stroke. Another way a patient with lupus presents is they can present, apart from the muscle pains, the joint pains, the fever, and the rash, they can also present with kidney problems. They can present in kidney failure. They can also have blood in their urine. Another presentation is that this lupus can attack their heart, and they may present with heart problems, which usually come as swelling of the body, the heart not pumping very well, and the patient can even die. Another way that lupus can present is they can present with anemia. Anemia is when you do not have enough blood in your body. So they can present with anemia. They can also present with bleeding. So lupus is a disease that can be diagnosed. There are ways to diagnose lupus. There are blood tests that we use to diagnose lupus. And it can also be managed. So some of the ways we manage lupus is by giving patients immunosuppressants. So this patient's immune system, like I've said, is hyperactive. So hyperactive that it's attacking the body. So they can be given medication that will suppress the immune system. But like I said also, it's a chronic disease, so it can recur. So what I can advise the public, if you have lupus, make sure that you get seen. Do not miss appointments because lupus can be very dangerous. If you smoke, please stop smoking. If you can, as much as possible, avoid stress. And if you are a woman in childbearing age and plan to have children, make sure that you speak to your doctor so that you can plan properly. because one of the complications of lupus is spontaneous abortions. So you can get pregnant, the antibodies attack you, and then in that course you can lose your baby. So make sure you are seeing a doctor and you've planned before getting pregnant so that your pregnancy is smooth. Another complication of lupus, especially in pregnant women, is that the antibodies can be transmitted to your baby through the placenta. This is what causes neonatal lupus. So it's very important that your pregnancy is well planned.
Welcome back. Hope you've learned one or two things, because it's not the first time we're talking about lupus. Now, quickly moving on to our next segment, which is the money market. Let's take a look at how the stock exchange rate looks like as of today. Now, the Great British Pound is buying at 20 kwacha and selling at 19 ngwe. Buying at 20 kwacha, 0.19 ngwe, and selling at 20 kwacha, 0.59 ngwe. The United States dollar is buying at 16 kwacha, 0.78 ngwe, and 73 ngwe, and selling at 17 kwacha, 0.6 ngwe. The euro is buying at 17 kwacha, 0.34 ngwe, and selling at 17 kwacha, 0.68 ngwe. The South African rand is buying at 97 ngwe and selling at 99 ngwe. That is your money market as of today. Now remember, you can get interactive with us on our Facebook platform. All you need to do is just search for Camnet TV, like the page, follow it, and then also remember that you can comment on the comment sections. We have just posted the topic out for you, and we are live. Good morning to you that are catching us from the Facebook Live, and thank you for watching. Thank you also for the comments that are coming through. And also you remember, you can come through live in the studio with the numbers just that are scrolling on the screen. Now, quickly getting into a topic of discussion for today, which is, what is your take on the appointment of GEARS Initiative Director McDonald CHIPENZI'S as Electoral Commission of Zambia Commissioner? I have an opinion concerning that. I feel he gives proper checks and balances, and he's an electoral expert. So I feel he deserves the position. I don't know what you think, but I personally feel he deserves the position. And also remember that we've got quite a number of stories that caught our attention in the course of the week that we will be looking at. But for now, we'll take a quick short break, and then we'll come through on the other side, and we will be zooming into the headlines.
Cabbages, onions, maize, potatoes, tomatoes, chilies. At Rainglow, we supply great quality irrigation for the mentioned crops and more at an affordable price. Get our 2,000 meter flat drip for as low as 2,900 kwacha, or our 500 meter round hose for 1,300 kwacha. Customize your own spacing with our 500 meter blank round hose going for 1,200 kwacha, ideal for orchards such as avocado, mango, banana, oranges, etc. Rainglow Irrigation. Best quality, best price.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Camnet Breakfast. Now, quickly, let's get into zooming into the headlines and look at stories that caught our attention in the course of the week. And on a sad note, it's actually of two kids that went to play at a nearby bar, and there was behind, I'm not sure if it was behind or just around the bar, and there was a septic tank that wasn't properly, not really properly constructed, but I feel like the iron sheet that was put on top of the septic tank is old. So the kids actually went to play from there, two kids. Unfortunately, one lost their life, but the other one survived. This is the story.
This is a septic tank at a bar named as Barlos in Lusaka Shainda compound, which residents say has been a death trap for a long time as it is not secured, being covered using only iron sheets and stones. With the bar being located in the midst of houses and the gate being open for most of the day, children walk in and out as they play. A child of the same area has however drowned to death in the septic tank Monday morning between 8 and 9 hours while playing along with another girl on top of the iron sheets after both of them fell in. Residents explained that the two children, believed to be 3 and 4 years old, a daughter and granddaughter of a certain woman in the community who at the time of the interview had already accompanied authorities in taking the body of her daughter who has died to the mortuary.
So sinazio tumwana pundira kuti. Nilaunde sinamuona. So nipite so nampeza alimilile hapa. Mwita tani umu nafika chape kumudosa na kwanja yanga.
So in the umozi olo?
Napeza umozi. Nishimanzi afika umu.
Kulumuka ako?
Ndeka mnena pulumusako. So after namfunsa, mzako alikuti aiwezi babiri. Mzako alikuti sikakamba. Mzako alikuti papita tayo kuti kakamba ati aliwo.
Pali chitambuki kai bana benzo soberera pa mwamba kwende kalidi manje wofaka kalidi muja mukachani kai plampa amasi apo kalidi ko chitirapo segula ngati chafasa or china fase basegula ija chani manje plampa sana chai mushika kalidi kaja so kalidi kaja bana posobera kabwera kadirikira mu maona so ndiye vuto ya mene nakena nkakonka ukase tweteze tubiri.
I was trying to chita. I could suppose some of the people who was at Pamankara, Mawekaza. Navandoma Koreapa. So got as a check of Sabanton Film.
The 3-year-old girl who has survived also narrates what happened. Pamia Chikwachkachan saying when Zaguera Muti. When Zaguera Mobwanji. Dani Kajamanja Kamali. Mwenzo Stabwanji, Mwenzo Sovera. Others have threatened to demolish the bar as they say the owner, identified as Joseph Chinyemba, is not cooperative.
So mepo mininga tu alikutari shwe velishinchani nshwalipo bwanji panjira kupesa kabbe alikutari. Chizamba ngani zilabo kuti yawe ndiva meno ashachani kuti ndiva meno achitabana na wichi kapena shani so ndiva meti ganiza napa ndiva meti ganiza twaganizira.
Bana maba bakatumiriwa amafoni sibabwera so chitidabusa pinchanje nchilengesa kuti basazifika ngati bantu batumira amafoni.
Camnet News also spoke to the owner of the bar in a phone interview.
Manje sijitakia bwanji because kumena gwera mwana uyo parent wa mwana ankala pamene hapo. They suppose caring abana bake. Masi caring bwanji try.
By broadcast time, the Lusaka City Council LCC had delegated a team on the ground to conduct inspections at the bar. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
May that child's soul rest in peace. Now, quickly moving on to our next story is a story that was trending on social media, on different social media platforms, including Facebook, and also on news items, which was the police officers being brutalized by some people in Katete, and also they bent down the police car. So the 20 suspects were actually apprehended. I would say that's one of the worst I have seen in a long time. Here's the story.
20 villagers of Kamwanza village in Katete district of Eastern Province have been arrested as having been behind the brutal attack on police officers who tried to rescue a murder suspect who was released from police custody after the agitated villagers destroyed his house and pounced on him. The shocking incidents of police officers being brutalized never reported before in the country left many shocked, as officers were armed but decided to refrain from using force on the villagers despite their lives having been in danger. An Inspector General of Police Lemi Kajoba says he has taken time to analyze the detail of what exactly transpired in Kamwanza village and says it was unnecessary and unacceptable for the villagers to react in the manner they did, as there are other available avenues to address their perceived grievances.
It was unnecessary and unacceptable for villagers to react in the manner they did, as there were other available avenues to air or address their perceived grievances. I've taken time to read and listen to various opinions and comments from members of the public over the incident.
The Inspector General has since announced that 20 suspects have so far been arrested and says the full arm of the law will be applied to all those who participated in injuring officers and burning down a police vehicle, so that people should know that it does not pay to take the law in their own hands.
People should know that it doesn't pay to take the law in their own hands. In view of this, I wish to inform the nation that we have apprehended 20 people suspected to have been behind the attack of police officers. The suspects, all male persons, are between the ages of 18 and 53, who are believed also to have gutted a police motor vehicle, Toyota Land Cruiser, registration number ZP 2502B, and also they participated in demolishing 16 houses.
And Mr. Kajoba says some members of the public have been making comments that officers exhibited weakness by not retaliating and suggesting that they should have been casualties on both sides. The police boss has since warned members of the public pouring scorn to be mindful with their comment over such incidences, as officers are listening to the information they are feeding them. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
We pray that, or we hope that that will be sent as a warning to would-be offenders, because I feel that was uncalled for, and we hope that the law will actually, justice will prevail. Now, moving on to our next story, which is some time back there was a story of a suspected United Party for National Development cadres that are selling illegal land, but then the suspected United Party for National Development cadres in Sakanya ward of Kafue district have allegedly continued demarcating land belonging to a family of 7 despite being served a restraining order by the High Court.
This is Chisankane ward in Kafue district, where a group of cadres alleged to belong to the current administration have continued harassing a family of 11 as they have been demarcating their land and putting up beacons despite the family possessing title deeds. In October 2022, Camnet News carried out the said story, which resulted in officials from Kafue Town Council coming in. The High Court also issued an order of restraint.
You can see, come on, see.
Land Administrator Malika Zimba was speaking to Camnet News.
But cadres are still coming, claiming that it is their land. Now they're coming in numbers. They're coming in numbers, and they're sponsored by they're saying bosses from UPND. And then, on the other hand, Chinese are also coming in, buying lunches for the same cadres.
While the area councillor belonging to the United Party for National Development, UPND, Chris Kalinga, was among those named, he is on record dismissing the allegations. The family says all they want is safety, as their land is being invaded nearly every day.
Since the Kafue Council was suspended, we are asking for the new administration to take up this case. Please take interest. Please take interest. Otherwise, we are in trouble. We are being troubled. We are dying here. They're going to kill us.
We will monitor the story and continue to follow up with relevant authorities, among them the Kafue Town Council. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Kafue District.
Now moving on to our topic of discussion for today, and also the story attached to it is that Vice President Mtalena Lumango has defended President Hakainde Hichilema's decision to appoint Gears Initiative Executive Director McDonald CHIPENZI'S as a commissioner at the Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ. Now the Vice President had told Parliament that the President has duly followed the Constitution in his appointments, stating that Mr. CHIPENZI'S is not a member of the United Party for National Development, but an individual qualified to take up the position.
It was yet another day for members of Parliament to ask the Vice President Mtalena Lumango some questions, as is the custom every Friday. The leader of the opposition, Brian Mundubile, opened the floor with a question on whether Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema has been weighing in on the Constitution when making appointments in key positions such as the Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ, where Gears Initiative Executive Director McDonald CHIPENZI'S, alleged to be a hardcore UPND member, has been appointed to. In a response, the Vice President reminded the Patriotic Front that Article 3 of their Constitution gives power to appoint members of their party to key positions.
And I don't even know whether the person you are referring to, is actually a UPND. This party really wants to follow through the Constitution. And every Zambian has a right, with the right qualification, to be appointed. We are different, Madam Speaker, from our colleagues on your left, particularly from PF, who, I have said this before, in their own Constitution, Article 3, you amended it? Madam Speaker, they amended probably after they lost. Because the one I had access to talked of people to be appointed in positions had to be. Yeah. That came from.
Meanwhile, Kawambwa Member of Parliament Nixon Chilangwa asked the Vice President why she looks troubled whenever she is responding to questions on the floor of Parliament.
You look so troubled, Madam Vice President. When answering questions, you look extremely troubled. Is it because you have realized now that we are only 3 years, 5 months and 21 days to the dissolution of Parliament? Or is it because of the so many unfulfilled promises?
You look troubled. It is possible. I can't tell how you see me because it is you seeing trouble. But I don't feel troubled. I am not worried about the 3 years and 5 months you're talking about. Not at all. In fact, I'm so happy. Madam, this honorable was crying just in this house this week that we are saying we will go to Kawambwa. We are now gunning for Kawambwa, and we are coming to Kawambwa.
And Lundazi, Member of Parliament Brenda Nyirenda, also raised concerns as to why some youths who took part in the 2022 census of housing and population have not been paid their dues.
People, two types of people that have not been paid. Those that have not surrendered their gadgets, because when they went into the field, they were given gadgets that they were supposed to bring back. If they have not taken back that, then government has not paid. Then there is another problem which I also learned, that the account numbers, when the government sends into the account numbers that they gave, the money bounces back.
The Sikongo lawmaker also asked the Vice President why the UPND administration has prioritized peace in its governance.
Is the bedrock for anything that you want to do. It is the bedrock for development. So the two items cannot run parallel.
The challenges faced on the collecting of inputs in Petauke constituency was also a matter of concern raised by the area member of parliament, J.J. Banda, where the vice president has assured that the Minister of Agriculture will look into the issue. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Welcome back. So I would like to say congratulations once again to Mr. McDonald CHIPENZI'S for actually being appointed as the Electoral Commission of Zambia Commissioner. And also I will be reading out some comments on Facebook later on. But let's talk about how busy yesterday was. So yesterday was Black Friday, and half of the people that I know don't really understand what Black Friday is about. Well, way back from the story that we were being told, we were told that Black Friday was actually a time when we can't run away from history, black history, which was slavery, where some slaves were sort of at a half price, okay, to help the other masters do the plantation and stuff like that. So now, did you know Black Friday was actually, is actually one of the busiest days? Now, you probably heard of some of the madness that surrounds Black Friday. Well, it's about to get a little crazy, and we know Black Friday is the start of the biggest shopping weekend of the entire year. It's full of amazing deals, cheap TVs, people who literally act crazy. And I've also have some fun facts that you didn't know about Black Friday. Now, fact number one is that in the 1800s, the term Black Friday was used to reference to the stock market crashes. And also another did you know is that the predecessor to Black Friday, for those that believe in Santa Claus, was actually the Santa Claus parades. And also the other one says Black Friday is the busiest day of the year for plumbers. I don't know how true that is. And also another fact is that holiday shoppers indirectly determine the date for Thanksgiving. So Black Friday falls on the last Friday of the month of November. And also another fact is that Black Friday was once called the Big Friday. Not forgetting this one, Black Friday wasn't officially claimed to be the busiest shopping day of the year until 2001. Another fact about Black Friday is that Black Friday has spread to over 15 countries in the world, and half of the people don't understand its history. Another fact about Black Friday is that in Mexico it is referred to as El Buen Fin, which translates to the good weekend. The last fun fact about Black Friday is that 12% of Black Friday shoppers are drunk. That is all. So those are some of the facts that go around on Black Friday. But I feel we should do our history research. But the one thing about Black Friday, I feel one thing about the Black Friday is that it's no longer about people. Because in some books, it's about slavery. But now it's items. But also you need to be sharp as a consumer, and if you're going to buy stuff on Black Friday, you need to know the shops you're buying your Black Friday deals from. Because, for example, there are shops that you don't go to. I won't mention names because I don't want to be quoted for advertising. There are shops that you don't go to, and because you don't know that shop and how their items are sold, you wouldn't actually know if you're buying that item or that product on the half price or when it's actually the actual price. Okay, they're very smart people that would give you an item and say it has been slashed, for example, from 1,000 kwacha to like 500 kwacha. Then they put 50% deal, 50% off deal. But in the actual sense, it's actually sold at 500 kwacha. So the trick of knowing how to buy cheap products or reduced products on Black Friday is to go to shops that you know how the prices are, so that you're not done a 911. But if you manage to get some good stuff on Black Friday, well, good for you, because it's a festive season. People are getting ready. I don't am counting down. I am excited. I've already bought Christmas presents. I'm looking to find for a house that's going to be doing a dinner, Christmas dinner, where you sit family and friends. Maybe I should actually host that, where people come through, they've cooked different meals, you catch up with your old cousins and also family relatives, and then there will be the aunties that will put you on the hot seat and ask you when you're getting married. Yeah, it's that time of the year. But anyways, compliments of the season. I hope I'm actually the first person to wish you that, and looking forward to Merry Christmas and also 2023. So let's get into our interview for the day. We will be focusing on the appointment of Mr. CHIPENZ'S, McDonald CHIPENZ'S, which is the Gears Initiative Executive Director, as Electoral Commission of Zambia Commissioner. So we'll be getting into that just after this break.
Good news, good news. The rains have started. You need to plan your future. Generational wealth is the way to go. Has grafted avocado plants fruiting within 2 to 3 years for sale at only 90 kwacha each, and ordinary avocados at only 45 kwacha each. Contact us on 0979 753010 or 0962 965 883. We are open from 8 hours to 17 hours, Monday to Friday, at Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill, opposite Hilltop Hospital. Christian Community Church Fundraising Dinner and Church Service. Hosts Pastor Field and Rita Ngalande. Guest speakers Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilu. Date 3rd and 4th December 2022. Venue Sally Riverside Resort in Mansa. Time dinner 19 hours to 22 hours. Church service 0930 to 12 hours. Contact us on 0978 04 2508. Take note, both events will take place at the same place.
Surround me with your grace. Surround me with your power.
Cabbages, onions, maize, potatoes, tomatoes, chilies. At Rainglow, we supply great quality irrigation for the mentioned crops and more at an affordable price. Get our 2,000 meter flat drip for as low as 2,900 kwacha. Or our 500 meter round hose for 1,300 kwacha. Customize your own spacing with our 500 meter blank round hose going for 1,200 kwacha, ideal for orchards such as avocado, mango, banana, oranges, etc. Rainglow irrigation, best quality, best price.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Camnet Breakfast with me, Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Now, before we get into our interview for the day, let's quickly take a look at the comments that are coming through from Facebook, which are very interesting. I'm seeing a number of speeches. Now, this one is coming from Denise Wembia, and he says he is an expert in civic education and strives to make laws simple to understand. He deserves the appointment and will excel pity if he compromises. Okay, that's coming from Mr. Gwembia, and this one is coming from Zambia Empowerment Hub for Entrepreneurship and Skills Training, and it says he is more than able to do the work. He has a lot of experience. He is a governance and elections expert that we can testify, having worked with him in a civic society space for many years. Thank you so much for coming through. This one is coming from Sharon Walombe, and she says he is a cadre. Wow. This one is coming from Jack Mlemwa, and he says, I think some of the questionable appointments in sensitive institutions is what will make people lose faith in this current government. This is exactly where the Patriotic Front lost it. Also, I thought UPND, being in opposition for a long time, they have learned from PF's mistakes. This, what the PF was doing, we are tired of people. Some scripts different. Okay, I didn't understand the last part, but thank you for the comment. This one is coming through from Jack Tatila, and it says, I support the appointment of CHIPENZI. And then this one is coming from Jara Haramba Denise, and he says, CHIPENZI McDonald, the man is equal to the task, and wishing him all the best to you, sir. Now, those are some of the comments that are coming through from Facebook. So if you feel you have an opinion on our topic of discussion for today, which is the appointment of the Gears Initiative Executive Director, McDonald CHIPENZI, as the Electoral Commissioner of Zambia Commissioner, you can come through either on Facebook or you can directly call us in the studio. Now, joining me on set is brilliant Zondi Nyirenda. Let's see how brilliant he is. Mr. Nyirenda, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm all right. How are you?
It's good to have you on set. Welcome to Camnet TV. This is...
I'm grateful.
Yeah, more than just another channel.
It is.
So let's quickly get into the current topic of discussion, which is the appointment of Mr. McDonald CHIPENZI as the Electoral Commission of Zambia Commissioner. What is your take on that one?
Well, I think my take really is simply based on the rules that govern such an appointment. And by so, I mean, what is the regulation of such? Does he qualify academically? Does he carry what it takes? Because if I qualify for a bursary, should you refuse me to have a bursary because I belong to a party you don't like? It shouldn't be like that. If I qualify for a bursary, I believe you should be able to give me that particular bursary. The same is true with him. When you look at the governing law, that's the Electoral Commission of Zambia Act, that should be, Act number 5 of 2019. Specifically, I stand to be corrected, I think should be Section 5, subsection 2. It provides for a person who can be qualified or can be appointed as a member of the commission. And among the various things that can be, that can make someone qualify, it's simply a degree in some field and then being, a person without a political office and everything, among other things. So when you look at the gentleman in question, I believe he's got that, all right? He's got that. His CV is everywhere. And not only about the CV, because one can have the CV but fail to deliver. So it's about the capacity and the track record. And for me, I look at the track record, and the track record for him is one that can help us because he has been able to have the exposure in the field that he's actually been, given. The reason why we train is for us to perfect our skills so that a time comes for the stage and we'll be able to do something in a better manner at a stage. So basically with him, it's also the same thing. And I've seen that, he has been an observer in various countries, Zimbabwe, Ghana, and other countries, election observers, so to say, as well as other things. And the governance Gears itself, Gears Initiative, that borders about governance, elections, advocacy, research, among other things. Those are things that actually, I think, make him qualified, apart from the papers that he has. And the only thing that now that we have to look forward to is his delivery. At the same time, there is also the final part of ratification. So the ratification is like scrutinizing someone. And if you scrutinize someone, you find they're not good or they're not fit for the task, obviously you do the thing that you believe is right, because majority is going to represent the views of the people. Each constituency has got a representative that we call MPs and other people. So all those people, I think they are sober people that we have, and they'll be able to come up with a conclusion that is going to be in the interest of the public. However, there's always a time frame to someone's delivery. So if they don't work well, there'll be a time for them to exit, and people that we believe are going to work well will be appointed, because at the end of the day, the voice of the people supersedes everything.
Okay, now you being a young political activist, let's take a look at Mr. McDonald CHIPENZI being placed at the Electoral Commission of Zambia. What do you think should be his focus as he takes on this journey?
Well, I think before I comment on that, I think the main issue that I've seen from people is the attachment of him and the political party and everything. And if that's the situation, then I think the major question we should ask ourselves is, let's rephrase and look back to, we refer to the elections that we had recently. And you realize that we had about 1.8 to another party and 2.8 to another party. So are we saying that the 2.8 of another party, they are all cadres of that particular party? And are we saying the 1.8 are cadres of the other political party? And at the same time, are we saying the 2.8 should have nothing to do with the 1.8 and the 1.8 should have nothing to do with the 2.8? I think if we have that kind of situation or that approach, we're going to divide this country. And Zambia is very bigger than every one of us, and so we should be united as one Zambia, one nation. The motto is clear, so we should be able to look at that. However, what should be his focus? I think a track record is very important, like I mentioned, and history also is very important. We have a major problem with our leaders, sadly, that they don't learn from history. They are very bad students of history. They end up doing the same things that happened in history, which made people, to condemn the people that served them at that particular time. So I think for him as well, at this particular time, he should be able to sit as a person, not as someone inclined to another party or someone inclined to another position, because his position as the person that has been appointed, to ratification, because it's not yet ratified. Until then we can say, okay, it's him and everything. But even after he is accepted by the assembly and everything, his main focus should be asking himself questions such as, what is it that wasn't right last time, which I should make right? All right, we had a lot of people, delayed results and everything. All those matters were on TV because we're all watching. I think the whole lot of Zambia, everyone was awake, following those results and everything. And there are things that we all condemned. I believe, as an activist that he is, an advocate of, gears, he also condemned certain things because he wrote various articles. So he should be able to refer to those articles as well, so that he cannot make those mistakes again. At the end of the day, deliver without any form of interference from a political party or a leader of a political party or a government official, but deliver in the interest of justice, in the interest of the Zambian people. For that is what he will be remembered for. Just like we're born as individuals, yet we're attached to various people. And when we die as individuals. Even remembrance comes to an individual. So even him, I think he should take that approach of not pleasing an individual, but being able to deliver for a good remembrance by the Zambian people.
Okay, those are actually very great points. Now, moving on to, from your observation, how would you describe the current opposition and the governing party's atmosphere? How would you describe that?
Great. As a patriotic Zambian, or as a citizen, I have a duty to be patriotic. That is a duty given to me by the Constitution, which is bigger than every individual in Zambia, which is binding on all the people in Zambia. When you talk of its supremacy, from Article, it should be 4, 3, and various clauses. So, commenting on the current opposition and the current government and their relation, I think one thing we ought to make clear here is that just because one belongs to an opposition party does not mean you oppose everything the ruling does. And just because you belong to the ruling party does not mean you support everything the ruling does. You need to be objective. You need to be a normal, reasonable person. By a normal, reasonable person, I don't mean any harm. I mean someone who's able to, be as objective as possible, to not just subscribe to anything, but be able to question the intention behind an action which is being done by someone you're supporting. Because we've had people that support blindly, I'll work with, for example, Mr. Banda will make a party because he's frustrated for not getting what he wanted from a party he belongs to. And I'll follow Mr. Banda. What will happen after Mr. Banda goes back home? I also move with Mr. Banda. At the end of the day, I'm not having direction. So as young people, as leaders, as people that are aspiring to be in leadership, we ought to understand that being an opposition does not mean you're opposing to everything. If something is good that has been done by a government that is currently in power, you have to appreciate, all right? And if you belong to the government, when it does something wrong, you have to hold them accountable and guide them. However, opposition does not mean just saying no to everything. It means accepting what has happened and what is not okay. Offer a solution, all right? Offer a solution. We've had, various past where this one will do this and this one will do that. We have presidents, even in history, we have everyone who comes in power and they'll have to do away with everything that was being done by the, the former parties and everything. But I think that is a wrong approach, because governance is continuity and you have to filter. Things that were good, you continue with them. Things that were bad, you don't continue with them. At the moment, I think we have issues of you know, CDF has been preached both in the government now and in the previous regimes, issues of, you know, cooperatives and everything. So that is a continuity element we're talking about. But as we do the continuity element, we shouldn't do it to make others look bad and us look like saviors, because the time will come where other people also take over from us. So should they also apply what we're applying? And if that would be the case, then when are we going to have a neutral leader to bring development? Because at the end of the day, we're having everyone who comes to make others look bad and them to look like saints. But is that what we're interested in? That is not development in any way. That is self-praise, all right? And we need development as a nation. When you look at Zambia, I think Zambia is a manageable country, and people here in Zambia are so united. You know, they're very much united, such that if they see the good in you, they'll be able to support you, rally behind you, and you deliver for them. So you don't even need to, you know, start doing all other things or speaking in any other way. Instead, you just need to deliver. When you deliver, those works are enough to speak for you. All right. So at the end of the day, you find being an opposition that just doesn't end on you saying no to something. Be able to appreciate the good. Be able to filter also if you're in the ruling. Filter in the governance that was previous. Get the things that are proper, things that are okay, because governance is continuity. All right. For example, we have now the things that were done by the previous regime. For example, they built roads. All right. And if I come here as a new leader and say the roads are bad, but I'm using the same roads, what am I implying? All right. But what if I just embrace the new roads and I also look at what other things were they supposed to do to make these roads more better? Then I add that. That is continuity, and it's going to beautify Zambia. The legacy for delivery is not even on a political party or making other people look bad. It's on the person that does those things. So instead of us labeling each other, I think we should be able to forget about labeling one another bad, but delivery, because Zambia is bigger than every one of us, and development at the end of the day is what we all want. Just like at constituent levels, you know, we have CDF and everything. Various tenures have passed. CDF has always been there, but the question is, where does the money go? Why is it that the same problems that have been there are the same problems that have always been there, and are the campaign messages? Yet time is moving. So I think it's high time we forgot about that. Opposition political parties should be able to put themselves in order and not just, you know, behave in any manner, because those are political players. And if we don't see the reasonableness or the reasonable element in them, I think then we're simply telling the ruling to say, yeah, the perfect ones, and continue. That's why we have these battles, and politics of violence, politics of vengeance and everything can never end, because that is the time that, you know, was supposed to change things. But with that kind of approach of making others look good, others look bad is wrong. I'll make reference to, you know, in Kenya, President Ruto and the previous Kenyatta, you know, you realize that, yes, there are things that they don't agree on, but things that they agree on, they are embraced. That is how leadership operates. And recently, I remember he sat his people down and was teaching them not to have battles with the previous ones and everything. Because by having those battles, you just delay the time for development, the time for delivery. And the same is an appeal to all the governments that come in power, whether in Zambia or other countries. It's not that when you go in power, you start talking or evaluating the former governments or the leaders to find out what they did wrong or right. No, it's about you sitting, understanding what is the state and what is required for you to move, because everyone has got a message when campaigning. So I think the best thing is to stick to that particular message, be able to deliver with respect to the manifesto. Where not clear, be able to consult, but without wasting time fighting battles that are not even going to bring development in any country.
Great. Let's move on to, let's take it back to last year in 2001 when we have when we had the general elections in August, and majority of the voters were young people. And now it's been a year after, and the New Dawn government, I feel they have settled. We can't say they're still settling in 12 months after. And let's talk about young leaders. Do you think they're taking their position now, looking at the current situation?
A direct answer to that is no, they are not. They are not, because I think everyone has got an interest when they're doing something. And the interest of the young people was for their recognition in various areas, such as leadership positions, employment, and other things. So, like I mentioned, there are times where you need to be as objective as possible. So when you look at something that is being evaluated now, yes, there are some, you know, opportunities that have been created, or job opportunities, so to say, which have been able to accommodate young people and everything. But that is not enough. There's still room for development. Not that it's not development, but there's room for development. All right? So we can do more than that. That's what I'm trying to imply. Now, when we speak about the reason for the young people coming out or turning out to vote and everything, and their appreciation now, 12 months down the line, which is 1 year, Is it equal? No, it's not equal. Every young person at that time was an agent, all right, was a campaign manager, because they all wanted change, and we all wanted change. Majority wanted change, all right, and the change was not even a bad thing. It was influenced by the need to see a better Zambia, the need to get away from a wrong way of doing things that we condemned at a particular time. The same can happen even now. If there's a wrong way of doing things, we can still unite as young people and be campaign managers to remove such element. You understand? So at the same time, we ought to understand that young people need recognition. And we say youths are the future leaders, but when does their future come? Because all the appointments that start to happen, we rarely see youths. So do we mean the future of the youth is when they become old and you appoint them? No. And we argue that it's about experience. Now, how do you relate experience of an old person to the experience of a young person in a generation that requires young energy? You understand? So all those matters, we have to put them in consideration and be able to know where can a youth work and where can an old person work. And are the old people that we say are experienced for the positions we have to give them, training other people, or the young ones who should take over from them? Because at the end of the day, positions now have become more like a personal to order kind of arrangement without action attached. And leadership is not about the position, it's about the action. Are you able to deliver? If you're unable to deliver, you're better off giving someone who can deliver, because each person wants development. When Zambia is developed, every Zambian becomes proud, becomes happy, and we all can make it. So if the youths are not being recognized, I think it's a major problem, and that is also an appeal to say youth should also be recognized. And in various positions, they should also have an influence. They should also have a chalk to attach, because there are various ministries, and various ministries have got an element of the 21st century, which is they're supposed to respond to. Now, who's more trained to respond to a 21st century problem? It's the person in it. The person who was born in the 21st century, because they understand what is happening there. You cannot pick someone who knows how to ride a bicycle to come and drive a truck just because they have that track record. They're two different things. They are good and they're experienced at driving what they drive, or riding a bicycle. You also will be experienced to driving a truck. So at the end of the day, we should make that demarcation, say, can this one deliver? Let's not look at the age. Even in the Bible, various leaders that were chosen by God were young people. Actually, the time that they were chosen, they were not experienced. Look at Timothy, look at Jeremiah, Esther, Joseph, look at David. They were not experienced when they were chosen by God.
Jesus started preaching at the age of 12.
Exactly. Are you telling me that he went to a school where they taught him how to preach? You know, so there are those matters that we have to appreciate, and we should be able to embrace such things, because these are principles of life. Leadership is not about the age. It's about the action and the right knowledge being done by the person in charge. That's why you realize that, for example, I always apply the leadership principle from Galatians 5, verse 21 to 23. It talks about the elements that one is supposed to have, things like self-control, love, peace, joy, and everything. When you possess such things, I think you're perfect as a leader and you're going to deliver. I saved myself as president of the Zambian Open University. The institution has got people that are older than me, but they still had to vote for me. Why? Because they saw what I was able to do. And my tenure was successful. Is it that there are no people that would do that? There are people that can do even better than me. Is it that there are no people that are older than me? There are people that are older than me and also younger than me. But I won the election, not because I told them to vote for me, but because I saw the manifesto and they wanted an interest in the manifesto. Okay, yes, we want the development. Let's not look at the person. Let's not look at their background. Let's not look at their age, but their capacity to deliver. So what is it that to capacitate an old person to deliver and incapacitate the young person to deliver at a time when the young person has got the capacity by and default to deliver? You understand? So I think we need to appreciate that thing, and at the end of the day, the best thing we can do is to understand that Zambia is bigger than every one of us, and so we should just team up. The young people, the old people, let's work together. Unlike the young people being used to put old people in position and old people putting themselves at a step where we can't access them. What's the point of a young person going on the ground, campaigning for an old person, because they're also on the ground, and when they pass, when they get the elections, they win, they go on top where you can't access them. And then they remember you at a time where they need you again. That, I think, is not, it's unreasonable, because we need development, not people convincing people. All right? So I think we should appreciate that and take that route where we work together. If we can't work together, we should respect each other. and force each other. Let's not fight each other outside the ballot. Let's fight on the ballot for people to choose. And not when you're threatened by me because I'm saying I'll contest, for example, then you start fighting me to prevent me. Why are you preventing me? What is it that you're doing that is better than what I would do? The best you can do is not prevent me, but just work so hard that your works will speak for you, to undermine me and allow people to vote for you. I think that is the approach we should take.
It makes sense why you actually won the presidential seat at the university. Yeah, you have, yeah, brilliant. Like your name. So now before I let you go,
please,
under a minute, what are your closing remarks?
Well, my closing remarks are to the young people and also to the old people. To the young people, leadership is not about the age. It's about your capacity to live and how well you're informed. If you have the knowledge, you can allow people to not perish. But if you don't have the knowledge, anyone can perish, whether young or old. These are biblical principles, and Zambia is a Christian nation. To the old people, you shouldn't be intimidated by the young people. You're becoming old. Allow the young people to take over. Even at the house, your grandma was sending you when you were young to do certain things that they couldn't do. But then you're doing things like you can do everything. So let's work together, young people and old people. Let's team up for the betterment of Zambia, for the betterment of our nation and our lives. Because at the end of the day, it is that which we give, which will be remembered for, not what we receive. So let's not make offices personal to order. Leadership is not about the position, but the action. So if you're unable to deliver, embrace people that can deliver, work with them, and deliver in the interest of the public. Thank you very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Hope you've learned one or two things from a very young, informed political activist, brilliant Zondi Nyirenda. You will agree with me that his speeches are quite brilliant. I give you a hand for that one. Job well done, job well done. Great interview. So now remember that if you missed out on what we were discussing, you can just go back to Camnet TV Facebook page and check the live session. It will be there for you. You can just rewind and catch the interview. I feel it's one that you shouldn't have missed if you missed it. But if you have been with us from the time that we started up until this minute, I'm sure you've learned quite a number of things. And I would like to say thank you for taking this time to watch The Breakfast Show. For everybody that took time to come through, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show. I would love to say thank you on behalf of Amos Lungu, Isaac Chifita on the other side, and on behalf of the entire Camnet TV crew. From me, Precious Mzea Sakaleji, is thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.